There comes a moment in every person's life when you feel it deep down in your spirit that you can't keep living the way you've been living. You know there's more for you, more inside of you, more waiting outside the walls you've built around yourself. But here's the truth, most people never step beyond those walls. Why? Because it's comfortable, it's safe, it's predictable. Let me tell you something. Comfort is a silent killer. It doesn't destroy you all at once. It drains you day by day until you look back and realize you've lived half a life, not a full one. I remember a man I once spoke to. He had big dreams as a child. He wanted to write books, travel the world, build something that mattered. But years later, he was sitting in the same chair at the same desk, telling the same stories about what he could have done. He never stepped outside his comfort zone, and life passed him by. And I'll never forget what he said. Les, I didn't fail, I just never tried. That broke my heart because the graveyard is full of people like him. Dreams never lived, songs never sung, businesses never started, books never written. Don't let that be you. So I ask you tonight, are you willing to leave your comfort zone? Are you willing to risk being uncomfortable, uncertain, and maybe even a little afraid just to see how far you can really go? Because if you are, then this journey we're about to take together may change everything. The call to rise. There's a moment, a defining moment when life whispers to you, it's time. It might come in the middle of the night, when you're lying awake, staring at the ceiling, feeling that H that says, I was made for more than this. It might come at work when you realize you've been trading your soul for a paycheck, showing up but not growing up. Or maybe it comes in a quiet moment when you see someone else doing what you've always dreamed of and something in you screams, that could be me. That's the call to rise, the call to step out of your comfort zone. But here's the challenge. That call doesn't come with guarantees. It doesn't come with a roadmap. It doesn't even come with applause. No, when you hear that call, most people around you won't understand. They'll say, why would you leave what's safe? Why would you risk what you already have? And that's when you've got to decide, do you want to live safe or do you want to live fulfilled? See, comfort is tempting because it whispers lies. It says, stay here. You know this place. Don't go out there. It's dangerous. It's uncertain. It's too late. You're not ready. And if you listen long enough, you'll start to believe it. But let me remind you of something. Everything you've ever wanted in life is on the other side of your comfort zone. Growth does not live in comfort. Opportunity does not live in comfort. Fulfillment does not live in comfort. Think about a seed. A seed is comfortable underground. But unless it breaks out, unless it pushes against the dirt, unless it fights through the darkness, it will never see the sun, and neither will you. That's why today I'm challenging you. Answer the call. Step up, step out, even if you're afraid, especially if you're afraid, because fear is not your enemy. Fear is a signal. It means you're standing at the edge of something bigger than you've ever done before. So when you feel that fear, don't run back. Don't shrink down. Don't retreat. Lean in, because that's the moment you know you're on the right path, the call to rise. There comes a point in life when you can no longer ignore the quiet whisper inside you. The whisper that says, there's more for you than this. It doesn't matter who you are, where you come from, or what you've been through. That whisper is universal. It's life's way of nudging you, pulling you, urging you to rise beyond where you are right now. But here's the truth. Most people never admit. Answering that call is terrifying. It demands that you leave behind the comfort of what you know and step into the unknown of what you could become. And that's where most people get stuck. They stay right where they are, convincing themselves that safety is better than growth and security is more valuable than fulfillment. But let me ask you, what is safety really? If you're waking up every day dreading the hours ahead, if you feel like a piece of your soul is shrinking each time you put off your dreams, is that truly safety? Or is it just another form of slow death? I believe the most dangerous place a person can live is not in risk, not in uncertainty, not even in failure. The most dangerous place is in comfort. Because comfort is seductive. It tells you you don't need to push any harder. You don't need to stretch. Stay where you are. It's good enough. And the moment you start believing that lie, you stop growing. You stop living. You stop becoming. When you hear the call to rise, it rarely comes when you're ready. It doesn't arrive when the timing is perfect. When the money is right. When the stars align. No, it comes in the middle of your mess. It comes when your hands are already full, when your confidence is shaky, when fear is screaming louder than hope. That's the test. That's how you know the call is real, because it demands you to act even when everything in you wants to hesitate. I remember meeting a young man once who had a dream of starting his own business. He told me he was waiting for the right time. He said, Alice, I just need a little more money saved, a little more experience, a little more confidence. And do you know what happened? 10 years passed. He was still at the same job, still talking about what he was going to do one day, and that day never came. Why? Because the right time doesn't exist. The perfect conditions don't exist. If you wait until you're ready, you'll be waiting for the rest of your life. The call to rise doesn't ask you to be ready. It asks you to be willing. Willing to take the first step when you don't know where the second one will land. Willing to trust that if you move, the way will reveal itself. Willing to let go of the comfort of certainty so you can embrace the power of possibility. But let's be honest. The moment you decide to step out, fear will show up. Fear will whisper, you can't do this. What if you fail? What if people laugh at you? What if you're not enough? And if you listen too long, fear will chain you to the same spot for years, maybe decades. But here's something I want you to burn into your mind. Fear is not a stop sign. It's a signal. It's proof you're standing on the edge of something that matters. If you weren't about to step into greatness, you wouldn't feel afraid. Think of a seed buried underground. It's dark, it's comfortable, it doesn't have to struggle. But if that seed stays there, if it never pushes through the soil, it will rot in its comfort. It was made to grow. You are the same. You were made to break through. And yes, it will be uncomfortable. Growth always is. But just like that seed, once you push through, once you reach toward the light, the whole world opens up to you. The call to rise is not about leaving behind what you have. It's about discovering what you're capable of. It's about stretching your wings even when you don't know how far they can carry you. It's about proving to yourself that you are more than your circumstances, more than your fear, more than your excuses. So I ask you, what is whispering inside of you right now? What dream have you buried under the weight of comfort? What desire have you silenced because fear convinced you it was impossible? That whisper will not go away. You can drown it out with distractions. You can silence it with excuses, but it will keep knocking. It will keep tugging. It will keep reminding you that there's more. And one day, you'll have to answer because life isn't waiting. Time isn't waiting. Your potential isn't waiting. The call to rise is right here, right now. And the question is, will you answer it? Breaking the illusion of safety. One of the greatest lies we've been taught is that safety exists. From the time we were young, people told us, play it safe. Don't take too many risks. Stay where it's secure. And so many of us grow up chasing this idea of safety as if it's something real, something permanent, something that will protect us from all the storms of life. But let me tell you something I've learned the hard way. Safety is an illusion. It's a story we tell ourselves to justify staying stuck. Because no matter how tightly you hold on to what you think is safe, life can change in an instant. Think about it. People who thought their job was safe lost it overnight when companies downsized. People who thought their health was guaranteed got a phone call from a doctor that changed everything. People who thought tomorrow was promised never woke up to see it. Safety is not a guarantee. It's a comfort blanket. And while you're clinging to it, life is passing you by. The problem with chasing safety is that it tricks you into settling. It convinces you that what you have now is good enough. Even when every part of your soul is screaming for more, you wake up, you go through the motions, you check the boxes, and you call it living. But deep down, you know you're not truly alive, you're just existing. Safety keeps you in a cage. And the cruelest part is you built that cage yourself. I once met a woman who had been at the same job for nearly 25 years. She told me she hated it. Every day felt like a slow grind, like her spirit was shrinking. I asked her, "Why don't you leave?" She looked me dead in the eye and said, "Because this job is safe." But 2 years later, that company shut down. After 27 years of giving her life to that place, her so-called safe job was gone in a single announcement. And what was left Regret. Regret that she hadn't tried. Regret that she hadn't listened to the dream she'd buried. Regret that she had mistaken comfort for security. Don't you see? Safety is never guaranteed. But growth is always an option. Risk is always an option. An opportunity is always waiting. You cannot build a meaningful life on the illusion of safety. If you really want to live, you've got to break free from that lie. Now, breaking the illusion of safety doesn't mean throwing caution to the wind or making reckless choices. It means recognizing that comfort zones don't protect you, they trap you. It means admitting that there's no such thing as standing still. You're either moving forward or you're sliding backward. And if you think you're safe by standing still, you're not. You're just slowly fading. Here's the truth. The only real security in life is your ability to adapt, to grow, to learn, to step out of the familiar and face the unknown. Because when you build courage, when you build resilience, when you build the strength to rise no matter what, you don't need the illusion of safety anymore. You become your own security. But that requires a decision, a bold decision. You've got to be willing to say, I refuse to settle. I refuse to shrink. I refuse to spend my one precious life hiding in a corner because it feels comfortable. You've got to be willing to tear down the walls you've built around yourself, even if it feels scary. It's like a bird that refuses to leave the nest because the branch feels safe. But if that bird never spreads its wings, it will never know what it was created to do. It will never know the sky, never feel the wind, never discover the freedom of flight. And sadly, too many people live and die clinging to their branch. Don't let that be your story. Breaking the illusion of safety means daring to leap, daring to fall, and daring to rise again. It means facing failure head on and realizing that even failure is safer than regret because you can recover from a setback, but you can never recover the years you lost playing small. So let me ask you right now, what branch are you clinging to? What are you holding on to because you've convinced yourself it's safe? Is it a job, a routine, a circle of people who don't push you to grow? What are you holding on to that's keeping you from flying? Life is not asking you to stay safe. It's asking you to live boldly, to live courageously, to live fully. And that starts the moment you break the illusion that safety will save you. It won't. Only stepping into the unknown, only chasing growth, only answering the call to risk. That's where true living begins. And when you finally do it, when you finally take that leap, you'll look back and realize the cage you were in was never locked. You were free the whole time. You just had to believe it enough to spread your wings. Embracing fear as a friend, fear has been given a bad name. From the moment we were children, we were told to avoid it, to silence it, to push it away. People said things like, "Don't be afraid," as if fear was some kind of weakness, as if it was something to be ashamed of. But the truth is, fear isn't your enemy. Fear is a messenger. Fear is proof that you're standing at the edge of something that matters. It's a signal that growth is near, that you're about to step into uncharted territory, that you're about to stretch beyond who you've been and step into who you can become. I want you to think about this. Have you ever felt afraid before doing something important? Maybe it was giving a speech, walking into an interview, asking someone out, starting a new chapter in your life. In that moment, your heart was racing, your palms were sweaty, and every part of you was screaming, "Don't do it." And yet, when you pushed through that fear, when you did it anyway, didn't you walk away stronger? Didn't you walk away prouder? Didn't you realize that the fear you felt was not a wall, it was a doorway? See, fear shows up when you're about to cross the line between comfort and growth. And instead of running from it, you've got to learn to lean into it, because fear can either paralyze you or it can energize you. The difference lies in what you choose to do with it. I'll never forget speaking at an event early in my career. I was terrified. I kept thinking, what if I forget my words? What if they laugh at me? What if I'm not good enough? My hands were shaking. My knees felt weak. And I wanted to run off that stage before I even stepped onto it. But then I remembered something. Those feelings didn't mean I wasn't supposed to be there. They meant I was exactly where I needed to be, because the presence of fear meant the moment mattered. It meant I was stepping into territory that could change my life. And you know what? I walked onto that stage. I stumbled through a few sentences, but I stayed with it. By the end, I found my rhythm, I found my voice, and I discovered something powerful. Fear had not come to stop me, it had come to test me. And that's the gift of fear. It's not there to destroy you, it's there to reveal you. It's there to peel back the layers of doubt and show you the strength you didn't know you had. Fear sharpens you, it wakes you up, it demands that you bring your full self to the table. Without it, you would stay asleep in your comfort zone. With it, you rise. But most people run from fear. They treat it like a monster under the bed, something to avoid at all costs. And so they shrink, they hide, they play small, they convince themselves that the absence of fear equals peace. But what they don't realize is that the absence of fear often equals the absence of growth. Because if you're not scared, you're not stretching. If you're not nervous, you're not moving into new territory. If you don't feel that little tremble in your chest, you're probably still standing in the same place you've always been. Here's what I've learned: fear is like fire. If you run from it, it will consume you. But if you learn how to use it, it will fuel you. It will light you up, give you energy, and push you forward. Every great breakthrough, every great achievement, every great story begins with fear. The difference between those who succeed and those who don't is not the absence of fear. It's the decision to dance with it. So the next time fear shows up, don't ask, how do I get rid of this? Instead, ask, what is this trying to teach me? What am I on the verge of that makes fear so loud right now? Because fear doesn't show up when you're doing something meaningless. It shows up when you're about to do something that matters. Imagine this: if you had no fear at all, if everything felt easy, if nothing stretched you, would life even be fulfilling? No, because the sweetness of victory, the pride of accomplishment, the joy of growth comes from doing the very thing that once scared you. Fear makes the breakthrough meaningful, it makes the climb worth it. So today, I challenge you to stop running from fear. Start embracing it. Start listening to it. Start using it as a compass. Let it point you toward the very places you've been avoiding, because that's where your growth lives. That's where your power is waiting. Remember this: courage is not the absence of fear. Courage is the decision to move forward in spite of it. And when you embrace fear as a friend, when you let it walk with you instead of running from it, you'll discover that fear was never there to defeat you. It was there to guide you into the best version of yourself. Building unshakable belief. Belief is the foundation of everything. Before you can change your life, before you can chase your dreams, before you can even take that first step out of your comfort zone, you must believe in yourself. And I'm not talking about shallow belief, the kind that fades the moment life gets hard. I'm talking about unshakable belief, the kind of belief that stands tall in the middle of storms, the kind of belief that holds strong when the world tells you to quit, the kind of belief that whispers, I will rise again, even when you've been knocked flat on your face. You see, every single achievement in history, every breakthrough, every invention, every story of triumph began with belief. Somebody dared to see it in their mind before they held it in their hand. Somebody dared to say, I can, when everyone around them was saying, you can't. And the difference between those who succeed and those who give up is not talent, it's not resources, it's not even timing, it's belief. Because when you believe in yourself, you become unstoppable. But when you doubt yourself, you become your own prison guard. The tragedy is that most people don't fail because they lacked ability. They fail because they lacked belief. They let the voices of doubt drown out the voice of possibility. They let fear convince them they were not enough. They let the opinions of others weigh more than the truth they knew in their own heart. And so they stop before they even start. They bury their dreams before giving them a chance to breathe. But here's what I know: belief is not something you wait for, it's something you build. You don't wake up one day suddenly filled with confidence. You cultivate it, you water it, you fight for it. It starts with small decisions, choosing to back yourself when it would be easier to shrink, choosing to say, I can do this, when your mind screams, I can't, choosing to act even when the outcome isn't certain. Isn't. Each time you make that choice, your belief grows stronger. Each time you push through doubt, Your faith in yourself gets deeper. And over time, that belief becomes unshakable. Let me share something with you. Early in my journey, I didn't believe I had what it took. I struggled as labeled slow. People told me I'd never amount to anything. And for a long time, I believed them. I believed their words more than I believed in myself. But one day, I had to make a decision. Either I was going to let their opinions define me, or I was going to build a new belief about myself. And I chose the latter. I chose to believe that I had something special, something worth fighting for, something worth sharing with the world. That belief didn't come overnight. It came through struggle, through failure, through refusing to give up. And it's the same for you. You may not feel strong right now. You may not feel confident. You may not even know how you're going to get through what you're facing. But you don't need to have it all figured out. You just need to believe one thing that you can. That simple truth that you can is the seed of everything. And if you water it with action, if you feed it with persistence, if you protect it from negativity, it will grow into unshakable belief. Understand this. Life will test your belief. People will doubt you. Circumstances will challenge you. Failure will knock on your door. But belief is the armor that allows you to keep moving anyway. When you have unshakable belief, rejection doesn't stop you. It refines you. When you have unshakable belief, failure doesn't defeat you. It teaches you. When you have unshakable belief, obstacles don't block you, they shape you. But if you don't believe, every setback becomes the end of the road. Every no feels like a death sentence. Every mistake feels permanent. That's why belief matters more than anything else. It determines whether you rise or whether you retreat. So how do you build unshakable belief? You start by speaking life into yourself. Stop waiting for others to validate you. Stop waiting for the world to crown you. Look in the mirror and remind yourself of who you are, of what you've been through, of the battles you've survived. You're still here for a reason. That means you're stronger than you realize. Then surround yourself with voices that lift you higher, because belief is contagious. If you stay around people who constantly doubt, constantly complain, constantly play small, you'll absorb their belief or lack of it. But if you stay around people who dream big, who push forward, who refuse to settle, that energy will feed your own belief. Finally, take action, because action builds confidence, and confidence builds belief. You don't wait to feel certain before you move. You move and certainty follows. Every step you take, no matter how small, proves to yourself that you can. And once you've proven it enough times, belief becomes your default. At the end of the day, belief is the difference between those who live their dreams and those who die with regret. So I challenge you, decide today to believe in yourself. Not halfway, not sometimes, unshakable belief. Because when you do, nothing and no one can stop you. The power of resilience life will hit you. It will knock you down sometimes harder than you ever thought you could handle. You'll face disappointments that shake your faith, losses that cut deep, failures that make you question whether you should even keep going. And in those moments, you'll be tempted to give up, to throw in the towel, to say, maybe this isn't for me. But here's the truth. It's not what happens to you that defines you. It's what you do when it happens. That's where resilience comes in. Resilience is the power to rise after being knocked down. It's the strength to keep moving when everything inside of you says, stop. It's the refusal to let the hits of life write the final chapter of your story. I've seen it time and again, people who looked defeated, who had every reason to quit, but who chose instead to fight one more round. And that decision to keep standing when others would have stayed down became the turning point of their lives. Resilience is not about avoiding pain. It's about outlasting it. It's about saying, this will not break me, this will build me. Think about the strongest people you know. They're not the ones who had it easy. They're not the ones who sailed through life without setbacks. No, they are the ones who walked through fire and came out stronger. They are the ones who faced storms and learned how to bend without breaking. They are the ones who turned wounds into wisdom. That's resilience. But let me be clear, resilience is not something you're born with. It's something you build. It's forged in the moments when you wanted to quit but chose to keep going. Every trial, every challenge, every failure is an opportunity to strengthen your resilience. And the more you practice it, the more unshakable you become. I remember a time when I was rejected over and over again. Doors slammed in my face. People laughed at me. Opportunities vanished just when I thought I had them. And yes, I felt like giving up, but I realized something. If I quit, the story ends there. If I quit, the rejection wins. If I quit, my dream dies. And so I decided to keep going, to try again, to knock on one more door. And eventually doors started opening, not because life got easier, but because I got stronger. That's the gift of resilience. It teaches you that you don't have to wait for life to get easier, you just have to get tougher. Now, here's the challenge. When you're in the middle of pain, when you're in the middle of struggle, resilience doesn't feel like a gift. It feels heavy, it feels exhausting, it feels unfair. But I promise you this, if you keep moving, if you keep pushing, one day you'll look back and realize that what tried to break you actually built you. You'll see that the scars you carry are not signs of weakness, but proof of survival. Proof that you're stronger than you thought. Proof that you can endure. And let me tell you, resilience is contagious. When people see you rise after being knocked down, it gives them permission to do the same. When they see you refuse to quit, it sparks something in them. You never know who is watching you, who is waiting to be inspired by your fight. Your resilience might not just save your own dream, it might save someone else's. But here's the key: resilience is a choice. Every day you choose whether to stay down or rise again. Every day you choose whether to let circumstances control you or to stand tall in the face of them. And every day you choose to rise, your resilience grows. So I want to ask you, what storm are you facing right now? What weight is pressing down on you? What failure has left you feeling broken? You might feel like you don't have the strength to keep going, but you do. It's already inside you. You've survived every challenge life has thrown at you so far. You're still here. That means you are stronger than you realize. Resilience doesn't mean you won't cry. It doesn't mean you won't feel pain. It doesn't mean you won't doubt yourself. It means that despite all of that, you keep moving forward. It means you refuse to let the story end here. So when life knocks you down, and it will, I want you to remember this. If you can look up, you can get up. If you can take one more breath, you can take one more step. If you can take one more step, you can change the direction of your life. Don't quit. Don't surrender. Stand up. Rise again. Because resilience is not just about surviving. It's about thriving. It's about turning every setback into a setup for a comeback. And your comeback is waiting. The growth mindset shift. The way you think shapes the way you live. Every action you take, every choice you make, every dream you chase is built on the foundation of your mindset. And the difference between people who rise and people who remain stuck is not talent, it's not luck, it's not even opportunity, it's mindset. It's the ability to look at life not through the lens of limitations, but through the lens of possibilities. That's what we call the growth mindset. And let me tell you, once you shift into it, your whole life begins to change. Most people live with a fixed mindset. They believe their abilities are set in stone. They say things like, "This is just who I am. I'm not smart enough. I wasn't born talented. I don't have what it takes." They see challenges as threats. They see failure as proof that they're not good enough. And so they avoid risk, they avoid discomfort, and they avoid growth. They shrink their life down to the size of their excuses. And year after year, they stay in the same place, wondering why nothing ever changes. But the growth mindset sees things differently. It says, I can learn, I can grow, I can get better. I may not know how yet, but I can figure it out. It sees challenges not as threats, but as opportunities. It sees failure not as the end, but as feedback. It sees setbacks not as roadblocks, but as stepping stones. The growth mindset knows that your potential is not fixed. It's expandable. And the only limits you truly have are the ones you choose to believe in. I'll never forget meeting a young man who wanted to become a speaker. He told me, "Les, I don't think I have the voice for it. I don't think I have the confidence." And I looked at him and said, "Neither did I. I wasn't born with this. I built it." Confidence isn't something you get handed. It's something you grow through practice, persistence, and perspective. That's the shift. Instead of asking, "Can I?" you start asking, "How can I?" Instead of saying I can't, you start saying I can't yet, but I will. That one word yet can change everything. I'm not good at this yet. I don't know how to do this yet. The moment you add yet, you give yourself permission to grow. You give yourself room to learn. You open the door to possibility. And that small shift is what separates the ones who rise from the ones who remain stuck. Now, I'm not going to lie to you. Shifting to a growth mindset is not easy because life will give you reasons to doubt yourself. People will criticize you. Failures will hurt. Challenges will stretch you. And if you're not careful, you'll slip back into the old way of thinking. But here's what you must remember. Your mind is like a muscle. The more you train it to see opportunity and difficulty, the stronger it becomes. The more you train it to look for lessons instead of losses, the more powerful it becomes. When you live with a growth mindset, rejection no longer destroys you. It directs you. It shows you where to adjust, where to improve, where to get stronger. When you live with a growth mindset, failure no longer frightens you. It fuels you. It becomes a teacher, a guide, a stepping stone towards success. And when you live with a growth mindset, challenges no longer intimidate you. They invite you. They invite you to rise, to stretch, to discover strength you didn't know you had. Think about an athlete training for greatness. They don't get stronger by lifting light weights. They grow by lifting heavy ones. They don't get faster by staying comfortable. They push themselves until it burns, until it hurts, until they break through their limits. Growth requires struggle. Growth requires discomfort. Growth requires stretching. And the growth mindset embraces that truth. It doesn't run from it. So let me ask you, where in your life have you been saying, I can't? Where have you been shrinking yourself because you believed your limits were permanent? What dream have you buried because you convinced yourself you weren't ready, weren't talented enough, weren't worthy? It's time to shift. It's time to stop letting your old mindset chain you to the past. It's time to start seeing yourself as a work in progress, capable of becoming more, capable of learning, capable of growing. Every great person you admire today started where you are, unsure, unprepared, unqualified. The difference is they believed they could grow. They believed they could get better. They believed that their current situation was not their final destination. And because they believed it, they acted on it. That same power is in you right now. It's not about being perfect. It's not about having it all figured out. It's about believing in progress, not perfection. Believing that every step you take, every challenge you face, every failure you endure is shaping you into the person you were meant to become. So make the shift. Trade in your excuses for effort. Trade in your doubts for determination. Trade in your fixed mindset for a growth mindset. Because the moment you do, the walls around you will begin to crumble. Possibilities will begin to expand. And you will discover that the only thing that ever truly limited you was the way you were thinking. The courage to take bold action. There comes a moment in every life when the talking must stop, when the planning must pause, and when the waiting must end. That moment is the moment of action. You can dream big. You can think positive. You can pray. You can hope. You can write vision boards and fill journals. But until you step out and take bold action, nothing changes. The world does not reward wishes. It rewards movement. It rewards those who are willing to step into the unknown, who are willing to act even when they don't have all the answers, who are willing to risk failing in order to succeed. The truth is, fear holds more people hostage than failure ever will. People sit on dreams for years, sometimes decades, because they're waiting for the perfect time, the perfect plan, the perfect circumstances. But let me tell you something, you will never have perfect timing. Life will never lay out a clear path with guarantees. The stars will never align in flawless order. If you're waiting for certainty, you'll wait for the rest of your life. Bold action means stepping forward in faith, in courage, in determination, even when the path is foggy, even when the outcome is unknown. I remember a friend of mine who wanted to start a business for years. He talked about it, he read books, attended seminars, even drafted plans, but he never moved. He kept saying, when I save enough money, when the economy gets better, when I have more experience. 10 years later, he was still in the same job, still frustrated, still dreaming instead of doing. The truth was, he didn't need more money or more experience. He needed courage. Because bold action isn't about knowing everything before you start. It's about daring to begin with what you have where you are and trusting that you'll grow along the way. You see, bold action separates those who live their lives full of regret from those who live their lives full of stories. And stories are born when you dare to try, when you dare to leap, when you dare to say, I may fall, but I will not sit still. Every great success you admire was once a risk someone was brave enough to take. Every invention, every breakthrough, every movement was born from someone who refused to stay silent, who refused to sit idle, who refused to wait for permission. But let me be clear, bold action doesn't mean reckless action. It doesn't mean jumping without thought. It means intentional, courageous movement in the direction of your calling, even if the ground beneath your feet is shaky. Bold action says, I will not let fear decide my future. I will not let doubt chain me to mediocrity. I will not let comfort rob me of greatness. It's about owning the moment and saying, if I must fail, let me fail forward. If I must struggle, let me struggle moving toward my dream. Think about a baby learning to walk. They don't sit and wait until they're sure they'll never fall. No, they stumble, they trip, they fall again and again, but they get up. Why? Because there is something in them that says walking is worth the risk. That same courage lives in you. Somewhere inside there's a voice saying, it's time to get up. It's time to step out. It's time to take bold action. Yes, it's scary. Yes, you will feel unprepared. Yes, people will doubt you, criticize you, and even laugh at you. But let me tell you something. Those same people will one day ask you how you did it. They will one day say, I knew you could. And even if they don't, the satisfaction of knowing you tried, that you dared, that you fought for your dream will outweigh every fear and every doubt. Life is short. Opportunities come and go. Doors open and close. The question is, will you have the courage to walk through them before they shut? Because bold action is not just about creating success. It's about avoiding regret. One day you'll look back on your life and the question won't be, what did I fail at? The question will be, what did I never try? And that question will haunt you far more than any failure ever could. So this is your time. This is your season. Stop waiting for the perfect moment. Stop waiting for approval. Stop waiting for fear to disappear. Fear doesn't go away. You act in spite of it. Courage isn't the absence of fear. It's the decision to move while fear is still in the room. And every time you act boldly, you shrink fear's power. Every time you take a step, you prove to yourself that you are stronger than the doubts that tried to stop you. Take bold action. Not tomorrow, not someday, today. Right now, because your dream is waiting, your potential is calling, and your future is watching. Step into it with courage, with fire, with conviction. Because once you move, once you act, once you leap, you'll discover that bold action not only changes your life, it changes you. It's time to leave your comfort zone. We've walked together through a journey of truth, courage, and awakening. And if you've been listening with an open heart, then you already know your comfort zone is not your friend. It is a soft prison with invisible walls. It keeps you safe, yes, but it also keeps you small. It protects you from pain, but it also robs you of power. And life is too short, too precious, too extraordinary to be wasted in the chains of comfort. Leaving your comfort zone is not about recklessness. It's about growth. It's about saying, I refuse to let fear write my story. I refuse to let doubt steal my destiny. I refuse to die with my dreams still inside me. And that refusal takes courage. It takes the willingness to step into the unknown, to face the discomfort, to endure the growing pains of becoming. Think about everything we've uncovered: the power of self-belief, the decision to embrace discomfort, the ability to confront fear head on, the strength to endure struggle, the discipline of consistency, the mindset of growth, the courage to act boldly, the wisdom to turn setbacks into setups, and the power of surrounding yourself with the right people. Each of these steps is a key. Each of them opens a door, and together they unlock a future that is bigger than anything you've imagined. But here's the truth. The keys mean nothing if you refuse to use them. You cannot think your way into transformation. You must act your way into it. You cannot hope your way into success. You must move your way into it. Dreams without action are just fantasies. Plans without execution are just ideas. And potential without courage is wasted. You were not created to live at half capacity. You were not placed here to sit quietly in the shadows of fear. You were made to shine, to rise, to stretch, to conquer. So let me ask you, what is the dream you've been holding on to? What is the vision that has been tugging at your heart? What is the change you've been afraid to make? This is your time. This is your season. The clock is ticking. Life is not waiting. And if you don't step up now, you risk waking up one day filled with the most painful words anyone can carry. What if? What if I had tried? What if I had believed? What if I had dared? I'm telling you today, you don't have to live with what if. You can live with I did. You can live with I tried. You can live with I gave it everything I had. That is the life of no regrets. That is the life of courage. That is the life beyond the comfort zone. Yes, you will fall. Yes, you will face critics. Yes, you will be tested, but you will also rise. You will also grow. You will also discover strength, resilience, and brilliance you never knew you had. Every scar will tell a story. Every failure will hold a lesson. Every victory will remind you that leaving your comfort zone was worth it. And one day you will look back, not with sadness, but with pride. You will say, I did not play it safe. I did not settle for average. I did not hide in the shadows of comfort. I lived, I loved, I fought, I grew, I became. That is the power of stepping out. That is the reward of leaving behind what was easy in exchange for what was extraordinary. So stand up, lift your head, straighten your back, declare to yourself and to the world, no more excuses, no more waiting, no more hiding. I am willing, I am leaving my comfort zone, and I am stepping into my destiny. Because your future is waiting on the other side of fear. Your greatness is waiting on the other side of hesitation. And your life, the life you were meant to live, is waiting on the other side of your comfort zone. It's time, not tomorrow, not next year, not someday. Today, right now, step boldly, step courageously, step with fire in your heart and purpose in your soul, because the world is waiting for the gift only you can bring. Don't let comfort steal it. Don't let fear bury it.